Neil Renner, Rat Duck here with a story. All right. July 11th was the anniversary, it was actually the 49th anniversary of the release of the David Bowie single, Space Oddity. And just a couple of days ago, July 20th, was the anniversary of the first moonwalk. And in honor of that today, I thought I would tell you a few things you might not know about the song. But a little background first. Now, Bowie was a big sci-fi fan and already had spoken about space in his 1967 song, Love You Till Tuesday, when he sang, "Don't be afraid of the man in the moon because it's only me." And following Space Oddity, Bowie had many more space-related songs, including Moon Age Daydream, Starman, Life on Mars, Hello Space Boy, and Dancing Out in Space. So, David was inspired to write the song after he saw Stanley Kubrick's film 2001: A Space Oddity. And the title was a play on the film title Space Odyssey. Did I say Oddity? I mean 2001: A Space Odyssey. And the title of his song was a play on the film title Space Odyssey. Space Oddity. Now, there was lots of interest in spaceflight at the time. And like I said, the Apollo 11, the first moon landing, left for the moon on July 16th, 5 days later, and that first landing was on July 20th. Now, of course, most people thought that Bowie's inspiration was all that was going on in space. But according to David, in England, it was always presumed that it was written about the space landing because it kind of came to prominence around the same time. But it actually wasn't. It was written because of going to see the film 2001, which I found amazing. I was out of my gourd anyway. I was very stoned when I went to see it several times, and it was really a revelation to me. It got the song flowing. It was picked up by the British television and used as the background music for the landing itself. I'm sure they really weren't listening to the lyric at all. It wasn't a pleasant thing to juxtapose against a moon landing. Of course, I was overjoyed that they did. Obviously, some BBC official said, "Oh, right then, that space song, Major Tom, blah, 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 that'll be great." But he gets stranded in space, sir. Nobody had the heart to tell the producer that. And in 1980, Bowie released a follow-up to Space Oddity called Ashes to Ashes, where Major Tom once again makes contact with Earth. He says he's happy in space, but ground control comes to the conclusion that he's a junkie. Okay, I think it's time we listened a little.
Ground control
To Major Tom. Ground control to Major Tom.
Take your protein pills and put your helmet on. Ground control
To Major Tom. 6.
commencing countdown, engines on. 3, 2, check ignition, and may God's love be with you.
All right. So Bowie had a one-album deal based on a demo tape which included Space Oddity, and he needed a producer. Now, believe it or not, George Martin turned him down, as did Tony Visconti, who liked most of the tracks, but thought the song Space Oddity was a cheap shot at the upcoming Apollo mission. Visconti, who worked for the label, delegated the project to his underling, Gus Dungeon. Now, Bowie had decided to use a stylophone on the tune, which is a miniature analog stylus-operated keyboard, as well as real strings and a mellotron. Tony Visconti suggested Rick Wakeman to play the mellotron. And according to Wakeman, David said, "Get him. I was rehearsing with a 70s band in Reading, so I drove up. It was a doodle to do, to be honest. I loved the song, and a lot of credit goes to David and Tony, as I don't think anyone else at the particular time would have heard mellotron on that piece where it came in. There would have been other things more obvious to do. It was very clever." And according to session bass player Herbie Flowers, the first time I played with David was on the session for Space Oddity. Dear Gus Dungeon was quaking in his boots. It might have been the first thing he ever produced. Space Oddity was this strange hybrid song. Rick Wakeman went out to buy a little stylophone for 7 shillings from a small shop on the corner where Trident Studios was. With that and all the string arrangements, it's like a semi-orchestral piece. Well, as we all know, the song became one of Bowie's signature tunes, and it's included in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame's list of 500 songs that shaped rock and roll. And in 2013, astronaut Chris Hadfield recorded a version of Space Oddity playing his acoustic guitar while floating weightless in the International Space Station. It's on YouTube, and if you haven't seen it, you must check it out. The video is very, very cool. So that's it. That's the story of Space Oddity. Hope you enjoyed it. Ratner Rock Talk. Alright, that's it. Ratner Rock Talk. Have a great rest of the weekend, and I'll see you real soon with another cool story. Let's wait till they come back in, then we'll go. All right. See ya. Bye.